This is the Elgato Prompter, one of the most expensive teleprompters currently available on the market, costing a whopping $279 on Amazon right now. So what is it about the Elgato Prompter that makes it so much better than other teleprompters? Let's take a look. If you've ever used a teleprompter before, then there's a very good chance that you've been in that exact situation. The vast majority of budget-friendly teleprompters these days usually require the use of your phone or tablet, which as a result requires you to download an app, which is either feature poor but free, or comes with everything you need at the cost of a monthly subscription. Well, I was fed up of having to pay that monthly sub just to allow my Bluetooth remote to scroll the text up and down. So I decided enough was enough and I needed to buy something proper. Little did I know at the time, the Elgato Prompter would very quickly become the one piece of kit that has sped up my entire video production process more than any other piece of tech that I own. So what exactly do you get for the $279 price tag? First up, we have the prompter itself, which is equipped with beam splitter glass that's part reflective and part transparent, 2 1/4-inch mounting points so it can quickly and easily attach to your tripod or desktop mount, 2 cold shoe mounts to attach lighting, microphones or other accessories, a camera bracket designed to support almost any camera, and of course a USB-C hookup into the integrated 9-inch display. We have a few different backplates and brackets which you may use depending on if you need to mount a webcam, DSLR camera or Elgato's very own Facecam Pro. We have 9 different step-up rings, a universal shroud backplate to help keep reflections off the glass when filming in places with a lot of light, a cleaning cloth, and finally a USB-C to USB-A cable. The prompter glass is obviously high quality, but the plastic housing doesn't feel particularly premium. And to be honest, if it wasn't for the integrated display, you could easily mistake it for a much cheaper teleprompter from somewhere like Temu. But what it lacks in build quality, it more than makes up for with features and ease of use. Setting up the prompter for the first time is pretty effortless. Mine came pre-fit with the Facecam Pro backplate, so I swapped it out for the DSLR backplate and attached the included 49mm step-up ring to the camera lens. Next, you mount the camera to the tripod and slide the prompter onto it using the step-up ring. Finally, grab your USB-C cable and plug the USB-C end into the back corner of the display and the USB-A side into your computer. That's the hardware sorted. You'll probably notice that the display is now either replicating or extending your computer or laptop's display, and that's because the Elgato Prompter acts as a second monitor, allowing you to easily drag your windows across to it. In order to actually make changes to what the screen is showing, and to actually start using this as a teleprompter, you'll first need to install the Elgato Camera Hub software from their website. The Elgato Camera Hub is where you'll realize just how incredible this teleprompter actually is. Let me give you a tour. Working from top to bottom, first up we have the display tab. Here we have the output, where we can pick which teleprompter we're editing, should you have more than one. We have a power slider to remotely turn it on or off, and finally we have brightness, which will change the brightness of the display. Next we have the content tab. Here we have the type options, where we can swap between display, text and chat. Like I mentioned earlier, the prompter acts as a second monitor, so the display option will show whatever you have dragged over to this screen. Personally, I open OBS and have my camera set up full screen here, so I can see myself on the prompter before hitting record. Text is, you guessed it, the place where we'll be setting up our scripts. In this view, you can easily copy and paste your scripts from wherever you've written them, and it'll automatically place the lines into chapters. Now, chapters are important as they allow you to navigate around your script much easier when trying to record. Let's say you muck up a line and you want to re-record it. You can either click the arrows at the bottom of the Camera Hub app, press one of your assigned hotkeys, or even use the Stream Deck to navigate back to the section you just messed up. Personally, I don't have a physical Stream Deck yet, but I do use the free Elgato Stream Deck app on my iPad to control a number of different settings for me. One last thing of note in the text view is the ability to save alternative scripts, useful for if you have multiple projects on the go at the same time. Finally, we have the chat view. This is for the streamers out there who like to look directly at the camera when talking to their viewers. Next up, we have the appearance tab. Now, I'm not going to go too far into these settings as some of them are down to personal preference, such as font. But there are 3 settings here that I think we need to talk about. First, font size and horizontal margin. These two settings will require a bit of tweaking to get right. You need your text to be big enough to read, but not so big that it's filling the prompter, and the horizontal margin should always try and have your text as centered as possible. Without tweaking these two settings, it may be noticeable in the final recording that you're reading off of a teleprompter, as your eyes will be darting from one side to the other. And the third setting I want to call out is the opacity slider. And this is a big setting for me. You'll notice by reducing the opacity, you can actually see the display view behind your text. This means that you can have your text on the screen and see yourself at the same time if you have your camera set up on the display tab. This is great for making sure that you're looking good on camera, but can sometimes be distracting when you're trying to read your script. The scrolling tab is where we find the controls that determine how fast the prompter moves through the script on screen. Now there are two modes that we can choose from, and again, these depend on your personal preference. First, we have constant. Constant is the traditional style of teleprompter and will scroll at a constant speed that you set. Auto scroll chapter will allow it to move on to the next chapter when the previous one finishes. Scroll speed, well, I'm sure you can guess what that does. Auto loop will go back to the top of your script when it reaches the end, and reading position changes the height of the text on the prompter. This is useful to make sure that you're looking right down the barrel of the lens whilst you're filming. Oh, and finally, highlight text, which highlights the text you should be reading to help you set your pace. Like I said, the constant mode is more traditional and can be super useful to give your presenting a more consistent pace. But what if you're someone who likes to change your pace a lot whilst recording? Or perhaps you can't find a comfortable speed that really suits your presenting style? Well, that's where the voice sync mode comes in handy. Voice sync will automatically highlight and scroll through the script as you're reading through it. Personally, this is my favorite way to use the prompter, but it is worth pointing out that if you're not speaking into a proper microphone, then it doesn't always detect what you've said correctly. Using voice sync also means you need to make sure your reading position is set correctly, as without it, you might accidentally end up looking away from the barrel of the camera. The last tab is the Overlays tab. The overlay is a little marker that appears in the middle of the prompter's view to help you see where the camera lens is. Make sure to position it right over the lens so you can maintain good eye contact with the camera. In this tab, you can choose whether or not to show the overlay, and you can also change the pointer to either a camera, circle, cross, snap, or square shape. You can also change the color and opacity, and of course, position. So I mentioned right at the beginning of this video that the Elgato Prompter was the piece of kit that made me more productive than any other tech that I've purchased for this channel. So let me shed some light on what I mean by that. I am awful at delivering my lines to a camera. I make constant mistakes and regularly have to lean over and swipe my phone's screen to move the script back up a few lines to get to the part where I messed up. Then I realize I'm sat in the wrong place or I've nudged the camera into a new position, so I have to swipe the phone up again and re-record once more. Now, I appreciate that these are my own shortcomings, but when all is said and done, an 8-minute video often comes out at about 20 minutes worth of footage that I then have to scrub through to find the bits that I want to use. Since getting the Elgato Prompter, my videos are usually around the 11-minute mark for an 8-minute video. Not only am I saving time on the actual recording process, but I'm saving a ton of time scrubbing through my footage to find the pieces that I want to use. Being able to connect my MacBook and easily pop my scripts on the display just makes the process of both editing and viewing my scripts so much easier. Voice sync means I can present at a pace that feels comfortable to me, and then if I do mess it up, I can easily move back to the exact line I screwed up and I can quickly re-record it. Having the ability to switch to the display view means that I can see what I look like on camera and make sure that my shot is in line with previous takes, or to just make sure that I'm still looking devilishly handsome and YouTube ready. In regards to the downsides of the prompter, my main issue is the lack of protective case. Unfortunately, I don't have a studio where I can leave it out on a tripod somewhere, so it means I have to pack it away in the box every time I'm finished with it. And of course, the other obvious downside is the price. Whilst I absolutely believe you will get your money's worth with this teleprompter, there is no denying that it is a little on the pricey side, especially when you can pick up something that does 80% of what it does for only a fraction of the price. So who is the Elgato Prompter for? Well, in short, it's for anyone who uses a teleprompter and has money to burn. Whether you're a YouTuber reading scripts whilst on camera, or a streamer who likes making eye contact with your viewers when speaking to the chat, or maybe even a businessman looking to make your virtual presentations feel that little bit more engaging, I definitely believe that you'll find value in the Elgato Prompter. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and maybe drop me a sub, and I'll see you in the next one.